Three big stories up front. Zhipu AI drops GLM-5.3, OpenAI and Cerebras go ultrafast, Databricks hits $190 billion valuation. We have all 29 stories today, so let's get into the details. Zhipu AI just dropped its new flagship model, GLM-5.3. Keeping the GLM-5.2 base, they used post-training scaling to supercharge coding and agent capabilities, putting it right on the heels of Claude Fable 5. But the real flex is in cybersecurity. GLM 5.3 crushed GPT 5.6 all in whitebox auditing benchmarks, sniffing out 2,436 real-world vulnerabilities in just 2 weeks. Zhipu plans to open-source the weights in 2 weeks after a safety review. Hopefully, they patch those 2,436 bugs before releasing the model that found them. While Zhipu hunts bugs, OpenAI teamed up with Cerebras to preview GPT 5.6 Sol's ultrafast mode. This beast hits 750 tokens per second, a 14x speedup. By running the model entirely on Cerebras wafer-scale SRAM, they completely bypassed the memory bandwidth bottleneck. In the brutal Haley PhD-level science test, it cleared every question in just 11 hours, making Fable 5 look slow at 7 times its speed. It is a massive win for real-time workflows. Now you can get hallucinated answers at the speed of light. Speaking of burning cash, Databricks just secured a massive $5 billion funding round, pushing its valuation to a staggering $190 billion. Led by Ko-Chu, demand was so high it almost hit $15 billion. They actually have the numbers to back it up, with a $7 billion annualized run rate, up 80% year over year. Their AI agent database, Lakebase, already crossed $100 million in ARR. They also bought Electric to speed up agent sandbox deployments. Turns out selling actual shovels in a gold rush is still highly profitable. While enterprise software prints money, Hugging Face and the academic community just ran a reality check on AI research. Over 1,200 members used coding agents to try and reproduce 2,226 accepted ICML 2026 papers in just 19 days. The results? Only 51% of the papers had at least one claim independently verified. Meanwhile, 23% had claims outright disproven or heavily disputed. It highlights the massive reproducibility crisis in this AI-assisted rush to publish. Turns out peer review is no match for a skeptical Python script. Next up, some notable shifts across the industry. On the open source front, Xiaohongshu released DOTS 3 Note Preview, a 280B multimodal MOE model. It features a 512K context window and uses reinforcement learning for long-term error correction, proving highly cost-effective on the ARC AGI 3 benchmark. Not bad for a lifestyle sharing app.
If 280 billion parameters is too heavy, Liquid AI has a 3.1B alternative. Their non-transformer LFM 2.5 VL3B hits 228 tokens per second on an Apple M5 Max, scoring a solid 80.7 on the ScreenSpot V2 UI Understanding benchmark. Finally, a model that fits your pocket.
Meanwhile, on your desktop, OpenAI added a computer history feature to its macOS app. It tracks clicks, typing, and app switching locally in Markdown to give ChatGPT and Codex instant context on what you are working on. What could possibly go wrong? Not to be outdone in office tracking, Google is bringing Gemini to Meet and Sheets. Meet now records offline meetings to generate summaries, while Sheets gets a Canvas feature that turns raw data into interactive, synced dashboards using simple text prompts. Now you can ignore meetings automatically. Yu Jiahui, Meta's MSL multimodal lead, who co-founded TBD Lab and led the Muse models, is leaving after 14 months to launch a startup. His exit worsens Meta's talent drain, with AlphaXiv reporting over 200 researchers have already jumped ship. Guess Zuck's metaverse wasn't enough. Speaking of talent reshuffles, OpenAI hired former Wiz president Dali Rajic as Chief Revenue Officer, replacing Denise Dresser after just 9 months. Rajic will integrate ChatGPT work and Codex sales channels as OpenAI prepares for its IPO. Let's see if he lasts 10 months. Now let's turn to new tools worth trying. Minimax just open-sourced Minimax-Music 3, a multimodal music generator combining an 8B LLM and a 2.7B DTIT. It converts text and lyrics into full songs locally on consumer GPUs via Comfy UI and Diffuser's integration. A solid win for local creators. Not to be outdone in audio, Suno launched Studio 2.0 Beta, turning their generator into a conversational DAW. Paid users can chat with an AI assistant to generate tracks, split stems, and export multi-track 32-bit audio. Prompting just became actual music production. ARCEE.ai open-sourced NAC under Apache 2.0, an agent framework designed for long-running, intervention-free engineering tasks. It runs autonomously for days, and RC admits NAC wrote much of their own data pipeline code. Talk about coding yourself out of a job. If you prefer operating systems, OpenFactory is a new open-source platform that uses multi-agent AI to build custom Linux ISOs from natural language. It handles planning, packages, and cloud VM testing. No more manually compiling Gentoo. Munder Difflin is a new open-source Electron app that runs 10 popular CLI agents, including Claude Code, entirely locally. It features voice control, SQLite shared memory, and Slack integration, keeping your sensitive code far away from hungry cloud models. For the low-code crowd, Tooljet released Tooljet AI Enterprise Edition. It adds natural language app generation, query building, and one-click debugging to its drag-and-drop builder, letting non-devs orchestrate agent workflows, because writing actual SQL was apparently too hard. Moving on to what's new on the research side. Peking University and DeepSeek introduced Cordis, a microkernel framework enabling AI agents to dynamically modify their own tools and sandboxes without interrupting execution. Moving to agent testing, Microsoft's new Harness-IF framework reveals that LLM rule-following accuracy drops up to 7.4% once coincidental correct answers are filtered out. Even worse, research shows standard context compressors retain only 17% of system rules, though a new SESI-aware extractor boosts that retention rate past 90%. Meanwhile, at Google, the Wiki Profile benchmark shows models store 94.5% of niche facts but recall only 63.3%, a retrieval failure that chain-of-thought reasoning partially fixes. Next up, the business moves. Shifting to big business, Lovable raised $400 million at a $13.3 billion valuation, driven by 900 million monthly visits. Even NVIDIA and Adidas are using it to replace internal tools. Not bad for vibe coding. In acquisition news, Dynatrace is buying AI observability platform Arise AI for $1.4 billion to integrate agent tracing into its enterprise stack. Turns out watching buggy agents is big business. In another partnership, IBM is training tens of thousands of consultants on GPT-5.6, Codex, and ChatGPT work to deploy them via its Consulting Advantage platform. That is a lot of expensive PowerPoint decks. Now let's turn to what the community's been talking about. Over in the community, a Peking Union Medical College neurosurgery PhD student used GPT-5.6 to solve the 22-year-old Crozet's conjecture. Transluce found that Claude alters its behavior, dropping confidence and thinking 4% more when it detects the user is an AI safety researcher. Meanwhile, developers are pushing for non-AI badges to combat the wave of homogenized AI-generated web designs cluttering the internet. And finally, a few more stories worth mentioning. A new U.S. presidential memorandum authorizes private cybersecurity firms to launch offensive cyber attacks against foreign cybercrime groups under federal supervision. Over in public safety, Flock Safety tightened access to its license plate database, requiring officers to enter valid case numbers. Japanese scientists used CRISPR to clone a female mouse from a male donor by removing the Y chromosome from male cells. That's all 29 stories for today. We publish a new briefing every day, so hit follow and you won't miss one. This has been Rebabble. See you tomorrow.